You all ready for some action tonight? Are you all ready for some metal? We are Mortification. And we are erasing the goblin. Erasing the goblin, pointing the finger at you. Erasing the goblin, scrubbing to see you remove. This destructive power in your life. Erasing the goblin, taking control of your mind. What is the goblin trying to kill your soul? That giant sin that is growing all the time. Don't turn and say you want to his embrace. Now is the time to feel something done. Erasing the goblin, pointing the finger at you. Erasing the goblin, burning to see you remove. This destructive power in your life. Erasing the goblin, taking control of your mind. Where is the goblin that once ruling your life? Living up to the power of Christ. No more does his power have on you. Erasing the goblin, today we must go to Perth. Let's go. Let me hear you. Come on! The goblin is bleeding. The goblin is dying. Once he is dead, continually erase that sin. Continually erase that sin. Continually erase that sin. Yeah, go on. Let me hear some noise! Let me hear some noise! Well, it's good to see you all out tonight for our special DVD recording. And this next song is about all those record companies that rip people off. It's called I'm Not Your Commodity. Perth. Welcome to the nice IMAX Theatre. We're going to do a nice fast one for you now. This one is Hammer of God. Hammer of God. evil, raging glory, taken by the word, fire, burning, sword, blazing, hate, dying, glory, pain, its own eye, reflecting sunshine. Now the hammer has fallen, evil rise on the anvil, toxifying as the hammer's flashing low. Hammer's God, punching the gates of evil, raging glory, taken by the word, fire, burning, sword, blazing, hate, dying, glory, pain, see the sky, streams of light breaking from darkness cracks, as the candle shines, raised with force, the hammer will prevail, Christian ways victorious, fill us with your praise, go big! After the dawn, bringing the gates of evil, raging glory, taken by the word, fire, burning, sword, blazing, hate, dying, glory, pain. We are live, spreading gospel truth, uses mind, to our way. Now be converted, feel a blessed heart, change forever, eternal life. Go off, come on! Fire, burning, sword, blazing, hate, dying, glory, pain. Fire! All right. Thank you very much. Let me hear some shouting. Come on, you can do better than that. Let me hear a shout. Shouting, come on. All right, good one. This one is called Purest Intent.
A bit of a drink here. Want to keep that noise level going? See those fists in the air? This is a medley of some old stuff. There's some headbanging stuff, so we want to see some hair flying.
Come on, modification!
And if you got no hair, throw your fists, throw your head, throw your beard, whatever you got. Go off. Come on.
Community with the particle of humanity. Bring the living complaint and clearest important human knowledge. People start so hard. God extracted you. People start so hard. Never to return. Onward, let's go! Your life, righteous soul and shake ignorance to your broken God. Disciples of the sin, body strings wretched ignorance to your broken God. Limiting command, limiting grace, what is your reason for this thing? Bible, it is hot for the night, for the devil. Destroy beholds. Destroy beholds. Coming. Your faith is tested by the flesh vaccine in your heart. You have no time for God. You don't need the word. Watch your faith vaccine in your heart. You have no time for God. They come and it is good. What is it looking for? The Bible, it is hot for the night, for the devil. Destroy beholds. Destroy beholds. Come on, you all know this one. Let's see some head banging, come on.
Thank you very much. We are the priests of the underground. Relentless, use of brutal ways. Relentless, torturing your brain. Relentless, missionary voice. Relentless, mental in your brain. Thousands of fans follow the sound. We are the bridge of the underground. Thousands of souls, thousands of trails to the fuckers that they are wrong. With my emotions by our own, try to stop us, but we won't go. Better than all of the rednecks together, we will fight on to fight this people. Relentless, is on the way. Relentless, you're moving your brain. Relentless, missionary voice. Relentless, mental in your brain. Thousands of fans follow the sound. We are the bridge of the underground. Thousands of souls, thousands of tales to kill the fuckers that they are wrong. Unity in the mind. When you get to heaven, when you bestow into the lake of fire and hell, reserved for the ones we never know. Come on, come on! Damien Percy on the drums! Come on!
shall be judged. Let me hear some noise, birds.
Okay, one privilege that we have living in the Western world, we have so much living here, you know, and often I think, you know, I've been all over the world playing music, been to some pretty poor countries actually in South America and stuff like that, and my wife and I support a child through Compassion International. It's amazing for the price of what you pay for a DVD or something like that, like $40, 30, 35, $40. You can support a child in a really poor part of the world. The child that we support is the same age as my son. He turns 11 next month, and my son turns 11 at the end of the year. And for just $40 a month, this kid in the Peruvian jungle gets fed, clothed, goes to school, gets to play in a soccer team, and really we've connected with this kid over the years. And you know, it's just amazing, you know, like when you think about how small amount of money that is, the difference that it can make to his whole family. His father is just a rural worker that works sporadically, doesn't work all of the time. And so I'd encourage you guys, there's lots of organisations like Compassion International, World Vision, I think Red Cross does it as well, where like for just a small amount of money every month, you know, the amount of money that we probably spend on CDs or McDonald's or whatever like that, you can make a difference to you can create a whole young kid's life. And also some of that money from that $40 goes to support his family. He's got 7 or 8 brothers and sisters and his mum and dad. And it kind of inspired me to write this song, which is a really big, heavy one, so we want to see some real headbanging in this one, okay? And this one is called Humanitarian.
Humanitarian. Kills the greed. Humanitarian. Gives to the need. Of the wealthy in the Western world as the majority of the world's disasters. If we put all out just one family, we could make a change to their children's poverty. Humanitarian. To help one family. Humanitarian. We can kill the poverty. Kings of the Western world, sitting upon your throne, take a walk down your stairs. We reach out to the homeless, millions of children, families in poverty. We must reach out to the poor, share with them prosperity. Hey, 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 hey. It is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. Come on, Perth! Let us
Okay, I'd like to introduce you to the band on rhythm and lead guitar, Mr. Mick Jelinek. And the newest member of the band, doing a stellar job tonight, on the drums, Mr. Damien Percy. You all know I'm on that old bloke that's been around for 3,000 years. Okay, from a nice slow one to a nice fast one. You know, 10 years ago, I was diagnosed with a disease called acute lymphoblastic leukemia. And there are actually 6 levels of leukemia. There's 3 myeloid leukemias and there's 3 lymphoblastic leukemias. And of course, the third one up is the worst one, and then which is what I got, the worst lymphoblastic adult leukemia. And then there's a higher level of the worst acute lymphoblastic leukemia, which is the leukemia with a Philadelphia chromosome, which gave me a 1% chance to live. And so it's a pretty serious diagnosis, because the diagnosis of adult leukemia is very different to the diagnosis of childhood leukemia. They have about an 80%, 85% success rate with getting kids through leukemia. My younger brother went through leukemia when he was 10, so it was kind of a shock to have 2 in the family, you know. And so I went through a bone marrow transplant from my father, which was a bit of a miracle. And he wasn't a perfect match. He was only an 80% match. And I went through what can only be explained as a very, very extreme time with illness after the transplant. And 4 months after the transplant, I ended up getting a secondary cancer in my spine. And they gave me 2 weeks to live, and then they gave me 2 hours to live. This was back in 1997. And came through that miraculously. And then a year later, or not a year later, a few months later in April of 98, the same cancer came back in the spine. And they said to my wife, they said that Steve's got no chance to live this time. And it was kind of interesting because all the festivals were going on around the first time in 97 when I was given a couple of weeks to live and then a couple of hours to live. So it was announced at all these festivals over in America and stuff that I died, you know. And then people, you know, then we did Triumph of Mercy, and an album that we did in early 98, and then the cancer came back in the spine. And I've got a hole in my head, right here. They went in and had a look at my brain because I had leukoencephalitis, so it's actually cancer of the brain fluid, which runs down into your spine and manifests itself in the lumbar part of the fourth lumbar. Anyway, so they said to my wife, they said, "You don't want your husband to wake up this time. You know, he shouldn't have woken up last time. If he wakes up this time, he won't be able to. He'll be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. He'll be mentally challenged," which to a degree is true. But I knew that was coming up. And but the thing is that as from that I've become a partial paraplegic. But that's why I kind of look a bit awkward when I'm on stage and walking around on my cane and stuff. But I stand here tonight as testimony to the fact that you can do anything. Don't let anybody ever tell you that you're not good enough or you can't do anything. It's amazing that the way that I've connected through having a disability with other people with disabilities, and the things that they do, you know, when with people with disabilities, and all of us have a purpose. And I guess I'm testimony to the fact that I stand here tonight because I believe that God wasn't finished with me yet. I'm a born-again Christian, and when the doctor said, "Look, you know, you've got 2 weeks to live, we're sending you home on palliative care and you'll die within the next couple of weeks," I said, "Well, I have no fear of dying and I have no fear of living, because if I die, I know where I'm going. And if I live, then God's obviously still got something for me to do." So, still here 10 years later. It was interesting because when we first sat down and we were talking about the transplant, which was in late 1996, the doctor said to me, he said, "You can either live for the next 3 months, possibly, or if you have a bone marrow transplant, you'll have a shot at another 10 years. And here I am standing on the stage, still going strong 10 years later. So I don't know how many more years God's got for me, but it's whatever He's got for me, we'll be there. So this is a nice fast one for you. And these guys like to call it Dead Man Talking, but it's actually called Dead Man Walking. You ready for some more? This is called Standing at the Door of Death.
I see the devil's fires all around the youth. I've seen the brutal fires, my suicide. The tide, blood of Christ, don't see the light of the evil side. Standing at the door of death, I have seen the light of heaven. My eternity, realize by faith of Christ, don't need to die without eternal life. the youth, standing at the door of death. I have seen the light. Jesus died, God of Christ. Don't see the light of the evil side. Let me hear some noise!
All right, thank you very much. Well, the last song was a bit of an anti-suicide song. You know, it's kind of sad in a case like mine when you have to fight for life and you have to fight to live. I had a very good friend years ago, a young guy that was just in his teens, decided to take his life, and there's a lot of hopelessness and there's a lot of despair out there. And I want to tell you all tonight that none of you are an accident. Doesn't matter what sort of situation that you're caught up in or what problems you got in your life. You could think that you have the most extreme problems in life. There is an answer, because we're all created in God's image, and He has a purpose for all of us. And I know someone personally that was in a very extreme situation, brought up in the dark side of things, and inspired the writing of this next song, and kind of goes well with the one before, in that people get to a point of despair because they don't understand why they're born into these mad situations. And I can tell you now that the answer is just a prayer away. So hope you enjoy this one.
from us, dropping our cold. Escaping the world of sorrow, entering the path of your new tomorrow, finding the only way of escape, finding Christ on your certain earth. Come on, Christ! Yeah!
You know that during my time of sickness, there was a certain group of people that really helped me out a lot, and that was the church that I belonged to. And when I was in a thing called palliative care, when I was dying, I had palliative care nurses during the day, and in the church that I went to, we had all of these charge nurses, which is kind of like what they used to call matrons back in the old days. And they used to come over, you know, one at a time. There was 4 of these matron charge nurses in the church I was going to. And they'd come at night and look after me during the night. And it was just fantastic, the support that I got from the church. And this song was actually written before I got sick. And but it really, really goes to show that there are people out there that care. And my wife was able to talk to these people from the church who were, you know, very high qualified nurses, and they said, well, you know, what's going to happen to Steve on this level of morphine? They said, well, the day nurses have got him, you know, on this comfort zone. So what the idea is that the person just dies, you know, nice and comfortably and peacefully. And so my wife was able to say to the day nurses, to the palliative care nurses, you know, I don't want Steve on this level of morphine. And they said, well, you know, this is the normal regime sort of thing. And she said, no, there's got to be a better way of putting him on something else. And so because of the advice from the Christian people in the church and my wife, they put me on a drug called midazolam, which is an amnesic drug, which means that I was basically for a couple of months after I didn't die. But just goes to show that, you know, there is hope out there. And look, you know, we stand up here and say, you know, we're Christians or whatever, but, you know, everybody's a human being, and people think, well, you know, I don't want to be part of a church because, the church is corrupt or whatever like that. Like I tell you what, there's a lot less corruption in the church than there is outside of the church. And there are, yeah. And, and people always target the church because they say, oh, this happened to this child in the church. Because the church is still full of human beings, and of course, where there is an ability to abuse power or abuse money, there will always be people in there to do that. But generally you'll find in the evangelical church and in the Bible-believing churches around every country in this world, people that genuinely want to help you. And I'm alive today not just because of the wisdom of my wife and because of the love of my Heavenly Father and my will to live to see my son grow up and continue on in God's work, but also because the church were in there with us in the trenches during the hard times and giving myself and my wife a lot of advice. And so it's a song I really like playing and good headbanging one that's called Chapel of Hope.
Congregation of the winning saints would never be allowed to be forsaken. Suffering and sorrow, the pain of our tomorrows, can be healed by prayer and love amazing. Hear the enemy of our faith in your life from broken breath, lifting silent prayer, prevailing comfort, congregate, chapel of hope, a haven for our souls, chapel of hope, together we stand tall. The instigation of fear against our faith can bring about the weakness tomorrow. Gathering in comfort, the prayer of our fathers, covering the weakness in our souls of life. Hear the enemy of our faith in your life of broken breath, lifting silent prayer, prevailing comfort, congregate, chapel of hope, haven for our souls, chapel of hope, together we stand tall. Come on.
Mr. Mick Jolnick on the guitar. Shredding it up there. Thank you, Perth. You've been fantastic. Thanks for hanging around and making tonight worthwhile. Well.